The Pokémon Company have been producing games for us all to enjoy for 28 years. With 9 generations of games and numerous remakes, there is a case to be made for which game is the best and also which is the worst. And that is what we'll be taking a look at today. The title of the worst Pokémon game has to be the easiest decision for me to make, as it is clearly Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. These games were a massive disappointment, especially as someone who absolutely loves Generation 4. Pokémon fans have been waiting for so long for Gen 4 remakes, and then when we finally got them, it was a massive waste of time. The main issue with these remakes is that for some reason, they were an exact carbon copy of the original games with just different looking graphics. No elements of Platinum were incorporated into these remakes, despite other remakes in the past like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire incorporating story elements from Emerald. This meant that these remakes were nothing but a waste of time for players, as you would have gotten just as much enjoyment out of dusting off your Nintendo DS, playing the original games, and saving yourself £50. The only difference in these games to the original was an upgrade to the Underground. However, this was not enough to make these games any better than the originals or to make these games worthwhile, as it was only a small difference, and in reality, the only difference they really made was to people who shiny hunt Pokemon. Other than that, it wasn't that much of a difference. It didn't change anything from the story and didn't upgrade these games in any way, in my opinion. Whilst the different art style of these games wasn't the worst, coming off the back of Sword and Shield with the full 3D with some open world elements of the game, making a return to the top-down style of games was very disappointing and really hit home the point that these games were nothing more than a cash grab and capitalising on the fact that a lot of fans were anticipating these games. The lack of changes also meant that these games retained the issues from the originals, like the fact that the lack of fire-type Pokemon in the region meant that players were almost forced into picking the same few Pokemon in their teams for coverage and strength. This meant that there was a lack of replayability of these games. Now onto what I'm regarding as the best Pokemon games released, and I feel that this may be a slightly controversial pick from me, but it's Pokémon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I understand that this might not be a very popular pick, but hear me out. I could have gone with some of the older games, but I think nostalgia takes over too much when thinking about the Pokemon games. Yes, the older games were good at the time, but I find when replaying them, I'm left wanting the new features that were brought into the modern games. I also find that since the introduction of the 3D graphics, that I much prefer this way of exploring the Pokemon worlds over the top-down style of the games. Personally, I love the home region and it's one of my favourites, and I believe these games have a decent storyline considering they're a Pokemon game and they aren't really known for their great stories. And how can you go wrong with a legendary Pokemon that's a big whale? All jokes aside, these games, for me personally, I think did a remake really well. You get the expected updated graphics, but in these you also get new mechanics that are implemented into the games that help enhance them. Although not introduced in these games, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire kept Mega Pokemon from X and Y, and introduced even more Mega forms. Personally, I'm a big fan of Mega Pokemon and wish that the Pokemon Company had stuck with them and introduced even more Mega Pokemon going forward. With this, you got new great looking designs for Pokemon, and some Pokemon that were due an extra evolution were able to become stronger and have newer looks to them instead of creating a whole new evolutionary line. They also gave a new tactical side to the battling in the games. These games also benefit from implementing parts of the Pokemon Emerald story, and also by adding the Delta episode to the end of the game. This gave more of the game for players to enjoy, and also including the battle resort afterwards, gave players more to do after completing the main game. The region itself also benefits from a good variety of Pokemon and some challenging gym leaders and Elite Four. Another feature I really enjoyed in these games is the ability to fly around on Latias or Latios depending on your version. This allows you to access parts of the map quicker and was a new way to interact with, hunt and catch legendary Pokemon from past games. Whilst the visuals and mechanics of this weren't perfect, for me it was great at the time and also showed promise of what was to come later in the Pokemon games, being able to ride on Pokemon and look towards a more open world type of game. There was a consideration for me to include one of the newer games like Scarlet and Violet as the best game, as I do very much enjoy the open world style of games. However, even though you can technically challenge the gyms in any order you want, these games still feel very linear in that it doesn't really make sense to walk past a gym near you to go and challenge another gym first. The newer games have also suffered with some performance issues that cannot be ignored, and the features like Z moves or terrestrializing just don't feel as good to me as Mega Evolutions did. Obviously, this is all just my opinion, so let me know in the comments down below which of the Pokemon games are your best and worst. Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one.
you.